Thanks, sir, for giving me the floor to talk about something. So basically, the debate is depending on two facts. The first fact is the migration issue from the Mexicans. So let's talk about the why the USA has lost all the jobs. USA has lost all the jobs because of the economic recession that happened in 2009, and that happened because of the fact that the USA had listened to all its fiscal policies and gave it all to the businessmen. And when the fiscal policy had weakened, and then the economic recession happened, and then we lost all the jobs. It's not because of the fact that the Mexicans are eating up all their jobs. So it's just an assumption of the government team that the Mexicans have eaten up all the jobs. So what will happen if we get all the Mexicans out of the country? Then what will be the image? The image will be that the Trump is provoking the anti-globalization. The Trump is against the North Americans, as the Trump is against the North American Free Trade Agreement. And what will happen then? And then all the economic relationships with North American countries will be broken. And then what will happen? And then USA will lose all the trades happening inside, and then USA will lose the investors coming from those North Americans. These are later, sir. So these are the impacts that will happen if we just let all the Mexicans to go out of the country. And then let's come to the security issue. So basically, what we're trying to say that what's happening in the Middle East, in the seven countries like Iran, Libya, and Syria. In those countries, USA and Russia are trying to invade there at a time, are also trying to keep their influence in those countries. And what will happen then? So in those countries, we are seeing a civil war, and in that civil war, we are seeing a situation like three poles. One pole is trying to talk for USA, one pole is trying to talk for Russia, and one pole is trying to talk for the nationalism of that particular country. So later, and what will happen then? So in the later, we will see that the people who are with Russia, or who are with the nationalism of that particular country, they will stand against the USA. And then because of this travel ban issue, USA will lose their influence over that Middle East country, because Russia is always trying to influence all those countries living in that particular country. And by this ban on those travel issue, this will provoke all those Muslims. So basically, how does Islamic State work? Islamic State works on the basis of manipulating people against the liberalism, against the Western culture of USA, against the activities of USA that USA has been saying against the Muslims. So what will happen if USA stands against all those Muslims? If USA bans those Muslims,
so
then it will be easier for Islamic State to manipulate.
From the very first of your speech, you have said the North American Free Trade Agreement about something like that. Now, when a country actually trades with America, it's not only America's interest; it's also that country's interest to trade with America. Only for one cause, that America is throwing out Mexican immigrants. Will all North American or the countries will stop trading with America?
Yes, when USA will try to break all the relations with Mexico, and then the world will see that the USA, who was talking against socialism, who was talking against communism, who was talking for economic liberalism, is now against economic liberalism, and this image will backfire against the USA in the greater future. So what we are trying to say? We are trying to say that Mr. Trump will also provoke discrimination inside the USA. We have seen in the Hitler era that Hitler tried to kill all the Jews. Hitler tried to remove all the Jews' nationalism from his nationalism, and we are seeing such similar cases in case of Trump. Trump is saying that he will work for all those the Native Americans, but if he works only for the Native Americans, and then the other people will get oppressed, and then we will see situations like that happened in the after era of Hitler. In the case of Rohingya, we have seen that the people of Myanmar has always oppressed the Muslims, and then what happened? And then we have seen issues like Rohingya. So basically, let's come to a realistic scenario. All those so-called great debaters have talked about the possibilities, but no one has talked about the realistic scenario. What's the first issue that came after Trump was elected? The first issue that came was the Calexit issue. What's the Calexit issue? That the Californians talked about getting out from the USA. And why this happened? This happened because those Californian people feel discriminated opinionated and they want to go against USA. They think that the USA
Okay,
administration.
do you think about Trump? He's taking some steps which is breaking humanity.
Yes, sir.
Overall, all presidents should take care of first humanity. Everything overall. Okay, humanity. Okay, go on, please.
Okay, sir. So in overall, we see that the Trump has stood against the humanity. Trump has stood against the black minority people. Trump has stood against the LGBT minority people, and so all has talked about that the perspective of American people, the perspective of American Constitution. But if we come to the fact of American
Okay, you
Constitution,
shall not. Thank you very much.
okay,
Just
sir.
I want to say only. I want to ask one or two questions. Suppose you are president of Bangladesh. Do you want to make your country great?
Yes, sir. Obviously, I would like to make my country great, but I will try to make my country great, keeping my relationships with the capitalistic based
Everything
countries.
managing after
Everything managing and looking at the